it was interesting. Wavern KZ in the chat ended up saying, you know, F&I reminds him of VQ back during the Pro League qualifiers. The original Pro League qualifiers of Split 1, where VQ ended up going undefeated and dominating even the first E-Days. Remember? Fire and Ice is literally replicating that success, maybe slightly to a lesser degree. Let's not forget VQ literally didn't drop a map in like 4 weeks. But regardless though, F&I is looking strong. But let's see what they can do tonight. Let's see if they can take out Hive. Off the start though, TJ, strong kill onto Xploidz. Dyslexic will also fall. And Hive, a great initial.
That's actually a big start to the game here for Hive. It was a great shots by INZEM, cleaned up by TJ. Unfortunately, they keep this one going around the side. That's a big decap coming through for Noey, but he actually does get taken down. TJ doing what he can to save this one. Xploidz finds himself in such a tough spot. They're trying to buy as much time as possible. Most members of F&I are coming off a respawn. They're trying to return fire as much as possible. Damage is being dealt, but nobody from Hive going down just yet. In fact, it's Xploidz, Dyslexic. They're getting traded off on downs. There's a player towards the back end on the second side. Homehill putting out a ton of Lancer fire. That is going to be Solurs. They're funneling these members of F&I down. Trades coming through, but F&I has finally lived to fight another day here.
And TJ stayed up just long enough to give him a little bit of faith in my mind until Toti shut him down. But that could have been a little bit scary for Toti in that situation. But hey, F&I does break free, and now they have a chance to come back. But they do have a significant deficit here in round number 1. But the point is they stayed alive. And it's a lot easier, it seems, to stay alive in this 4v4 format with unlimited respawns than it was before. I think a lot of teams would have already gave it up if the respawn economy was a thing. For Solurs and Toti, though, it's personal. They're going in that 1v1. Noey, though, is going to be able to Lancer out and take him down, and Solurs is going to let him bleed out to give a little bit of added time to Hive, who is now going in for the domination for the second time.
Another guy getting their death staggered around. Only one player up, Dyslexic. He's going to get a little bit of help, but 5 seconds are differentiating both Toti and Xploidz respawn. And Dyslexic goes down. The deaths are continuing to be staggered by Hive, and they're pressing forward. They want to solidify this round. No, not by time, but by domination, as Xploidz doing all he can to reset this one. There goes a kill on TJ, but the win condition is so far out of reach. Hive is just toying with their food, knowing this one's going to be over in here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, Hive's going to lead 1-0. It started off with a great initial, and they never backed down from that point forward. F&I struggled to get out of their spawn. They struggled, in fact, just to get their own home hill, and it took them quite some time to do so. Meanwhile, Hive was just generating point after point and accumulating a decent size lead. Well, back to the drawing board, F&I goes, but hey, they're a reactive team, and they're going to find a way to try and break through this initial off of Hive. Now, what was their answer before when they were playing against Rated R, who, mind you, won round 1 in much the same way, actually a very much quicker way? They placed a long shot down, and there we go. Xploidz, he's going to do so himself. This is a strategy that worked against Rated R with a similar play style. Let's see if it works against Hive.
It was Hive doing their homework, because Keem's been watching this one to figure out exactly how F&I likes to play this. They get smokes, they get their flashes, they go right up into this one, and it does look like they're going to play exactly how they were playing before. And immediately Xploidz is going to get that sniper. The chain revive's coming through. He is actually going to get out for it. So Hive not make any real adjustments here to start off this round, but it does. Oh my God! Xploidz continuing where he left off, immediately putting that sniper to use. The rotation coming through, trying to help out Toti. Oh my God, he does it again! Hive, please learn your lesson. Please take notes.
Somebody wasn't watching the F&I versus Rated R matchup, because that is something that should have been shut down. Do not get the long shot. And he goes in and gets a body shot onto INZEM while simultaneously missing Fearzly and not taking him down. Now, the pressure is real, and he's going to get out of there. But up close and personal, he still has the long shot out, and he's challenging Noey. He goes back in for the second shot onto him, misses it. Now, the Nasher has to come out. It doesn't. But either way, the domination is there. Noey wasted a little bit too much time, and F&I gets it. That initial is so smart from F&I. What do? They throw down the smoke. They get the coverage. Immediately, Xploidz goes in for the quick pick. If he gets lanced out, Dyslexic is there for the pickup, and then they get out pretty much unscathed. They're willing to give up that stern fight. Power weapon is there, like we've seen Torquebo in the past versus Rated R. They don't care, Jacob. That initial is so hard to deal with, and Hive has to find a way to do so.
I was about to say, I don't understand fully why that bolt talk was placed, but F&I getting ready, make sure they're ready for the first half, they're ready for the second half. On the other side of things, though, Hive putting that Talon pistol there, soon to be upgraded especially if they choose to put a big power weapon up there. Any adjustments going to be made by Hive. TJ kind of pressing forward this time around. He does have some help. They're not going to give away this free sniper just yet. 3 players of Hive in total are going up against 3 players of FNI. So immediately learning their lesson, making these quick adjustments, and not giving up a free sniper towards Xploidz. But where are they going to play after the fact once the smokes and the flashes have cleared? Who's going to be the one making this first move?
And because so much presence is around that long shot, nobody can get on B yet either. They can't be comfortable in doing so. So it's going to be a relatively longer initial. Dyslexic tries to go in for the pickup, but he's going to drop, and so is Toti. So Hive effectively baits them out. And Fire and Ice almost looked as if they weren't expecting or ready for a counter to that initial that has been working so well previously. So I think they're going to have to change that up because Hive has their number. Either way, Hive is going in for the domination, and Fire and Ice, they're going to be forced to just try and get some touches, which I believe Dyslexic is a little bit too far away. He's not. He does get the touch, and they stay alive.
Them going down. Noey getting taken out. TJ towards the back end, cleaning that one up. That's going to be a double kill coming through for TJ. He has the sniper in hands. If he can solidify this kill and continue to stagger the deaths, they can find themselves closing out this round. But Fearzly battles back, misrolls. Solurs unable to take advantage. That's going to be a blunder on the side of Hive. How much can Fire and Ice answer back with a big blessing like that? They're going to push forward. They're not going to get the neutralization just yet. They want to continue to stagger the death. This kill on INZEM is important. They're going to get that and the decap to come through. So unfortunately for Hive, this game is not over just yet. But luckily at the same time, you have a massive lead.
You do, but now player 7's going to be isolated. That's TJ. Tough situation. He's going to drop, and now it's just a short stone throw away from A. And now FNI is going to be on it. They've got to try and break them off of this setup. INZEM's going to do a good job pushing Dyslexic back, but in the meantime, FNI has closed this deficit quite a bit. Still a lot, though, to kind of chip away at, but either way, let's see if Hive can break out of this. They might have just done it.
I would love to see Fearzly and Dyslexic be on the same page. They run away together, but unfortunately, they get chipped out, just like this lead that you spoke about. Little by little, trying to get answer back. But Hive getting their home hill back, setting their sights on this neutral. Toti does go down, leaving Xploidz all by his lonesome. They did.
What's that sniper?
A dent in that lead. Sniper, is it up just yet?
I think I haven't seen it as of yet. I haven't seen it have an impact at all, but Xploidz is waiting, and I was assuming that he was waiting for the sniper. He really wants it. I think he's still angry that he didn't get it off the start, and I believe it's, what, 10 seconds until it's up.
I don't think they have enough time to wait for that 10 seconds, though. They need these eliminations. They need new neutralizations on the hill. Fearzly might even have to go run past, but it's not going to make it past. Dyslexic goes down. Fearzly goes down. Xploidz meets the same fate. Toti all by his lonesome. Not going to be in 2 places at once. This Hive is going to go ahead and win yet another round in our grand final. So I talked about that 10-1 victory in the semifinals versus Remedy. Is Hive going to be prepared? I do think that question has been answered. They are ready, and they are making the proper adjustments as well.
So FNI knows that Hive is going to be ready for this initial. No longer is Xploidz going to be able to push in, get the quick pick, and Dyslexic there to pick him up if he drops. So now they have to react and kind of readjust here, and maybe even consider just going for the OE, allowing Hive to put all their eggs in one basket to go for B, giving up the sniper, and then maybe going over and getting the double home hill setup. This is something FNI has to take into account to risk it if they want to. Either way, we do have the Talons onto the side for FNI, and then of course for Hive, they're going to have the Retro. Boltox are still there in the long shot in the middle. But I'm very curious to see how Xploidz and Dyslexic play this initial. I don't think they're going to get it anymore. I think Hive has too much of a lock on it, but we'll see.
Where it's going to get interesting. You almost can kind of telegraph the weapon placement coming through for FNI, but TJ, quick double kill. Doesn't look like FNI learned their lesson, and that's going to be quick advantage. There goes another one. Basically a triple kill off of spawn for TJ. The only glimmering hope Fire and Ice has is Fearzly right now. He's going to get the touch. He's going to prolong the round, but how much time has he bought his team? Are they going to be able to bounce back, win their home hill back, and get the necessary eliminations to climb back into the rest of this round?
You know, I always highlight Fire and Ice being a reactive team. They're so good at constantly adjusting to what the enemy team is throwing at them. But from that last round, I can't really discredit them. Hey, it is what it is. Hive ended up setting up and countering them. But then to go and try and do the same thing ignorantly and not assume that Hive is going to be ready to shut that initial down once again, TJ ate them up super easily, and it just was no competition, and he got the long shot, and he was able to capitalize. Does the domination come in? No, but then it doesn't need to come in. Once again, Hive has a decent lead, and Fire and Ice, even if they do start to come back, they're still going to be so far behind that it's going to be very difficult for them to hold control of the objectives. This is just a situation they're going to have to react to, and TJ is playing so well. That back A onto Toti was great, plus the Fearzly kill. He's playing out of his mind.
That's 2 of the quickest kills I've seen TJ get, but looking for more. I could see him trying to get information from these players. And this is the thing. Hive knows they don't have to press forward. They know they can just wait for another round of slaying, because as the time clicks off the clock, that's going to become a less and less opportunity that Fire and Ice can make an organized push. And as long as they keep them disoriented and not let them get organized, that's going to keep Hive in the driver's seat and go up 3-1.
All right, Fire and Ice, 1 good attempt here. Any amount of kills that Hive is able to get is going to be hugely beneficial, and that's already 1. Dyslexic's going to fall. TJ picks him up. Toti now is, hits the body shot, goes in. He just needs 1 pellet. He gets it, and TJ is out of his mind. 14-9, 6 steps to his name. Fearzly now being challenged. Some hills are being broken. Fire and Ice does technically have enough time, but too much ground to cover, and it's going to be Hive now leading 3-1.
Now, who would have thought the same strategy that carried you to a map victory in Rated R on Harbor is going to be the same strategy that Hive is completely taking advantage of to win 2 of their 3 rounds here in this grand finals. Map number 1, 3-1 is going to be the scored line. Hive looking like they're cruising to a victory here, but it's going to be up to F and I to not just lay down and let the steamroll happen. This weapon placement is going to be crucial. If I'm Hive, I go and upgrade my retro to a shot grenade and be ready for anything on the side of F&I, regardless of what happens. I want to see that big weapon placed towards the top side.
I agree.
That way you can kind of fight 2 fights at once. That ups the chance of you sneaking out with that sniper.
I agree. I think a torque boat here on Stern is going to be the play. But it seems as if maybe they've got something else in mind potentially. So it looks like our talent is going to go away. But I do agree. I think the power weapon up top is the best play, but they want their hammer burst. They've always consistently upgraded to a hammer burst on this map, but I don't think it's going to have much of a real impact here. Again, that long shot is going to command so much attention, and it really comes down to Fire and Ice finding a new way to get their hands on it. Even if they have to waste time, even if this initial goes on for quite some time, they cannot allow Hive to continue to counter them.
DJ's always watching. You see the spread coming out from both of these teams. Both sending 3 down low. A 1v1 going down up top. INZEM's going to lose that exchange against Fearzly. So that's going to have to either spread the numbers out from Hive, forcing another player back, or give up a free hill. Luckily for Fire and Ice, this early lead is going to put the pressure on to Hive. Sniper yet to be picked up, but Fearzly forced back. Big shots being answered. Xploidz does get the sniper, but he was down by Toti. Fearzly gets taken out, and somehow, some way, Xploidz gets out alive. You got to think Hive did not know he was down by his teammate, and he escaped to fight another day. So even though the eliminations are coming through and Hive is being able to gift an opportunity to push Fire and Ice back with that sniper in the hands of Xploidz, he can easily open up some avenues to repush.
Absolutely. Either way, that's their main objective, right? I think Fire and Ice, their win condition is to have that sniper at this point in time. I don't think they needed it, but it seems as if that's kind of where they're putting their eggs. But let's see what Xploidz can do. He is looking like the objective they're going to be going for. They know, obviously, one player is going to be hanging around on that outer edge. It's going to be TJ. I think he's just waiting for any of the heads to pop up. Solurs might go for the OE, and that's where player 5, Toti, is going to be there to try and stop them. Either way, the push is in. TJ looks as if he might have to keep his head low. But he's not giving Xploidz the opportunity. I don't think Xploidz should be so focused on this engagement with Toti, unless they want that OE, which might be the case.
Ooh, Dyslexic somehow snuck through towards the top side. Catching players off guard, but Noey, the all-seeing eye, is going to catch him, take him out, keep Hive with the kill control over on H. Toti doing what he can to overextend. Shots being fired, though. Solurs getting the necessary help. And that surely is going to put Hive in the best position here to go up 4-1, barring any miracles, barring any World Star plays coming out from Xploidz. You got to think a 4-1 scoreline is surely in the future, but with one final attempt, one final play to be made, Fire and Ice, what can they do?
I mean, I'm impressed with Xploid's ability to be able to connect on a sniper. It works so well versus Rated R, but it just doesn't have as much impact in this Hive matchup, to the point where I feel as if You know, if he gets it, he gets it, but he needs to be up there in the front lines assisting his team, being that duo to Dyslexic. That's where I feel Fire and Ice is strongest, but they're putting so much attention to the sniper plays to the point where you're seeing F&I be cautious in pushing up, be cautious in challenging the side of Hive to the point where it's like if Xploidz doesn't get a body shot or if Xploidz doesn't get a sniper kill, F&I doesn't push up because they don't feel confident in doing so. And now we might see that power. Well, actually, it's going to be instant, so it's completely blocked. Hive is happy with how the engagements have been going. They don't want to change the placements up that much.
And then throughout all of this, because of that shock grenade, they can throw that shock grenade towards the stop side, stop them from picking it up, put multiple numbers down low, get the sniper, and then possibly go back up to those instants. But you know, I'm just itching to be a coach, just like you said. I'm trying to drop plays in my hand. I'm trying to help out Fire and Ice.
Sure. And they do need help. This is the weakest I've seen them look, but granted, again, it's just one singular fell point, and that's all based around the sniper. But we'll see what happens. It seems as if Xploidz is wanting to get his hands on that sniper once again. Meanwhile, though, it looks like F&I is going to win their fight versus INZEM. Player 9 is also going to be an engagement that's going to be Noey. Dyslexic will effectively push him back. Instant onto TJ, but it's going to miss. Utility out of the way, but either way, Fire and Ice does have the objective with the 2-to-1 hill advantage.
And those instants right there, the way he threw those, that's the definition of pressure. Hive is putting so much pressure. He didn't take his time. He didn't use those wisely. They make an over-aggressive push, and they're paying for it right now. Hive is just waiting for these perfect moments, and they're just being gifted. And finally, though, Dyslexic, clutch player that we know him to be, trying to pin some things together. He's able to get one. Oh, my God. He got the damage necessary. I thought he did. No, it was actually 2 quick kills to answer back. Almost getting the third on INZEM, but INZEM going pushing up. He's going to get this neutralization. Fire and Ice does have an early lead, and they're finding a way to overextend towards the home mill. That is going to be the key. So these players off of respawn, they need to get into position to try.
Oh, no. That is heartbreaking. The 2v1 now no more, as TJ is going to feel free to push up onto Xploidz, and Xploidz will fall. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is heartbreaking because now the OE is no longer there. Hive now has ENF in control, and they kind of have the map presence now with TJ, also with the sniper, as it wasn't backpacked. This is the worst case scenario that F&I could have had.
And he has a Boltok. He can easily give up that sniper over to somebody else. Have the Boltok in his hand. They have a shock with INZEM. Multiple flash grenades to use as well. They have 2 hill controls, so they know Fire and Ice has to be the aggressors in this situation. And with TJ having that sniper down low, players like Dyslexic need to watch out in this situation, but he gets taken out, possibly shot in the back. Solurs get a double kill, a third from TJ with the sniper, and they're looking to close out map number 1 with a 5-to-1 scoreline, making this one look easy for our second qualifier to get into the Pro League.
I hate to say it, and I really, really hate to say this, Jacob, but that sniper strategy, it's just not going to work. And that's something that needs to be used sparingly. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if F&I gave that up entirely and just started playing, you know, Harbor in the way that it was intended, in the way that they were winning earlier on in week 1. Because week 1, that sniper play, that wasn't a factor. That didn't make the big difference, right? They won because of their aggression, their constant pressure onto Hive. Now, come back into week number 2, and it's just not the same. That sniper play, too easy to counter. Ultimately, Xploidz, if he doesn't connect with the snipers, now he's behind the lines. He's not assisting in advancing forward onto the hills or applying that pressure. If he's missing shots, the value of the sniper goes away. And unfortunately, Hive was basically playing a 4v3 there. The sniper needs to go. That's just not going to work.
Yeah, but especially when you have somebody like Keem that has a full match to kind of sit there, watch, take notes, figure out your tendencies. More times than not, it was Xploidz picking up that sniper, getting those big headshots, or picking up that torque bow towards the top side. You take note of that, you flush out their only avenue, their only real play, and they get taken out. And that's exactly what happens when you're a one-dimensional team. So going into map number 2, it's going to be crucial that you set up 2 different balanced sides of the map. That way you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's kind of why you see these teams set up the Boltok, set up the Talons, and not go straight away to putting that drop shot or the boom shot into the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think District obviously is going to play much different. This is a map that has been played competitively for quite some time. Not discrediting Harbor because it has been played quite a bit. That is just heartbreaking that we even put that in there, but it was necessary because that's what resulted in the 5v1 victory for the boys on Hive. But again, man, that sniper play, like you mentioned, one-dimensional, it's just not going to work. It worked great versus Rated R, who didn't know how to counter it. But TJ, the boys on Hive, just a bit too smart, and they saw right through it as soon as it was placed down. Regardless, though, District is coming up next. This is a map that F&I decided to pick, and a map, again, we have not watched F&I or Hive play in the 4v4 format. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how both of these teams play it.
You're going to see a lot of players sneak through. Like I said, with a map like this, where it's big, there's different avenues, different lanes to go ahead and push through. It's much easier with one less player on the map, one less security blanket to go ahead and watch your back. So players going to have an opportunity, especially players like Dyslexic from F&I, to slip through, to make something happen. But I don't think we're going to see that sniper play go down on this map, especially after what just happened. I want to see more of that drop shot like we saw towards the first half. I know 4v4 might have change things up, especially where the weapon tree does get laid down. But if you can go ahead, lose the first round, not on purpose, but if you lose the first round, they put the bolt talk somewhere on the map, you build that drop shot on the other side of the map. That kind of sets you up even in terms of fighting for that drop shot.
But even fighting for the drop shot, again, you're going against TJ, who's so talented at going in on those initial engagements, getting the quick pickup. Of course, you do have Dyslexic and Xploidz, who's going to be able to even out the odds. But if TJ can pop off like he's been doing tonight, he's going to be such a factor, much like Dyslexic was for E-Days for F&I, right? Dyslexic was popping off, therefore teams just struggled to go against that roster in general. He was constantly pulling off heroic 1v2s that resulted in a domination or just a round in general. And TJ is kind of that player tonight. Regardless, though, F&I, they need to just chalk up that harbor. It's over. It's done with. It is what it is, man. And just come into District even harder, because let's face it, they're going into Asylum after that. And this is a map that has been played between these two teams time and time again, from whether it be from last week to this week. Asylum is a map that I think F&I is hugely favored on. Their tracks fight is great. Dyslexic and Xploidz are kind of unmatched when it comes to that fight, but they just need to get through District.
I want to see teams, especially early on, run a 1-2-1 strategy, or maybe a 3-1. Take control of the middle of the field, because that allows you to go ahead and adjust from there depending on what you see. And because of one less player, you can easily catch players off guard. You can easily catch somebody in a 2v1 scenario, a 3v1, or maybe even a 3v2 with a slow rotate. So I want to see the importance put on towards the middle of the field early on, before the weapons start to take its toll and you start to have to go for those bolt talks, or you have to go for those retros, whatever it may be. And that way you put yourselves in an early lead, and then you put the fear in your opponent of them running in towards the middle early on. So that way they have to fight for it. From there, you can run your standard strategies, whatever that may be. So when it comes to a map like District, I'm interested to see how the strategies play out. Admittedly, so I haven't seen a ton of it since we switched over to 4v4.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of it, have we? I mean, we've seen actually more Harbor and Foundation than anything else, I would have to say. Vaskar, too. We've seen Vaskar quite a bit, but District, not so much. Just a bigger map in a 4v4. It's kind of a little bit more difficult to hold all angles, but it is going to make those players like TJ or Dyslexic, who like to go out on their own. It's a map that kind of suits their play style. They're comfortable in going on their own, going for the overextension by themselves, maybe forcing that 1v2 because they know that they can handle it given the right situation. So a lot of, I guess, faith is going to be put into them when it comes to this. But as you said, that mid battle is absolutely going to be one of those things that could determine what's about to go down. Long shot has been going down in mid quite a few times when I have casted 4v4 on District, so it's not out of the question. Power weapon, we do see it from time to time, but honestly, I think the best strategy for both teams as of right now is just to build up the weapon trees per normally, right? You get your bolt talk, you get your talent, you upgrade to your retro. I'm sure we'll see a hammer burst because both teams really love that hammer burst on every single map that they play. But that mid battle is going to be absolutely critical in just controlling the pace of the map. Looks like we are, in fact, getting loaded up. We're about to head into map 2. This is going to be Fire and Ice's map pick here on District. They do trail 1-0, so they're going to have to step it up if they want to go into a game 3, which is going to be on Asylum. But Jacob, I don't know. Hive looks really, really good tonight, and I don't know if Fire and Ice is going to be able to step up to the plate.
It's going to start in the first 2, possibly 3 rounds. You know how you start, it's how you finish. But in this case, for Fire and Ice, you need to start building this momentum. I haven't really seen anything convincing in map number 1. We know you guys have the strategy, you have the firepower to make things happen. It's just, is today your day, or is Hive finally catching on and getting your number?
Let's find out. Let's see how this battle does go underway. It seems as if the mid battle is there between Dyslexic and Noey. The stuns are in. That's going to assist. Noey will drop, and now he's going to be able to go ahead and assert some dominance here on Bandstand. I say that, but Fire and Ice is pushing through strong. 4 players out of the way. Solurs left to bleed out. Now Fire and Ice are going for the overextension, and player 3, Noey, is all by his lonesome, and he's too far away to even get a touch, and Fire and Ice takes out very quick round 1. 33 seconds.
I said it early on. That middle of the map is going to be key, especially since those players didn't push across Bandstand early on. They didn't push through when the down initially came through. It was kind of after. They were a little late on everything to go down. So great heads up play by Fire and Ice, not only to take advantage of the middle of the field, but immediately pull out your Lancer and put a stop to everything that went down on Bandstand. And up top, that was simply just a 1v1. So Fire and Ice, talk about momentum. That's how you start a map.
Yeah, and if they keep that momentum up, right, it's going to be Hive being the ones that kind of contemplate, do I want to place a power weapon down in Cinema? Do I want to place it on Bandstand? Typically, we do see it on Bandstand in the 4v4 format, but maybe we'll see something in Cinema. But still, very early to tell, and again, that mid-fight is critical. Xploidz now is going to be taking the reins where Dyslexic was there, but TJ cleans him up and now has free reign to rotate in any way he wants to. Noey will also take down Toti, and it's looking like the shoe's on the other foot, Jacob. Hive is now in a position Fire and Ice was in just a round before.
Gonna do the exact same thing. Leave him down. Don't let him get towards the hill. Stagger the deaths. You see Fearzly just like basically killing themselves. Xploidz not even getting close. So just as fast as that first round happened, Hive tied up right back. And that's where I say you got to watch out for the middle of the field. Even though both teams are only sending 1 player there, after that battle happens, after it's over in the middle, the players down low have to make a decision in the blink of an eye. And you saw both decisions happening in the round 1. You saw a team press forward and die. Round number 2, you saw them back up and kind of live the same fate of dying all the same. So to me, I want to see one of these teams really switch it up and put their numbers in towards middle. Don't let that one slip through your fingers a 3rd time in a row.
And I want to see Dyslexic go mid. I don't know why they switched it up. Dyslexic mid first round, and then second round, Xploidz ended up taking the reins. He got walked through by TJ. Nothing against Xploidz at all, but I want to see Dyslexic challenge TJ in mid and then control that position. Let's see if it's going to be the case here. For Dyslexic, he actually is going to be going mid, but he's going to be challenged by Noey as TJ now is going to be taking that lower part of the map. He's going to be rotating down alongside that of INZEM. So both teams changing their strategy quite a bit and forcing, or at least prioritizing, a rotation on the overextension as opposed to the mid battle. For Dyslexic though versus Noey, Noey is eventually going to drop her, you'd have to assume, unless INZEM really goes big here, which he might.
Oh my God, he makes it happen. Nice 1v2 play by INZEM to secure that double kill. Great rotations coming through. They kept the middle of the fight busy, so that way that bottom half of the map was an actual 2v2. And INZEM made it happen, even though his teammate did die. And you see the overextension towards the top half of the map. Fire and Ice know they need to go. Timing is of the essence for players responding back up and into position. And nice counter flashes from both of these teams. So nobody really able to advance off of that positioning. But a player of Fire and Ice did get in to neutralize that hill. Now it's all about picking up these eliminations. Noey does go down. Solurs with a quick revive. Nice back by Toti. Now they're going to find themselves in a 1v2 situation. But Noey gets 1 elimination, unable to get the second one, but the damage has been done. You see Toti finding his way to get down. Nobody's going to get that revive. So Hive finding a way to battle back out of such a bad position.
Can't believe how close this round is. Both teams are wide awake at this point, and they are wanting the victory. We know Latin America, right? They do not take L's easily, and Fire and Ice is angry, and they want to come back. But for Hive, they seem poised and ready to go and concentrated. Either way, though, Fire and Ice is finally going to get their hands on the neutral and start to close out this minor deficit to take the first lead, or at least their first lead in round number 3. For Solurs, though, he's just going to try and keep these players from from Fire and Ice at bay, because hey, F&I at this point in time, they can push up, go for the overextension, but they don't have to. They don't need to, and they don't want to. They're going to wait for Hive, or their, I don't even know, their 4th or 5th push at this point.
Fire and Ice has to be careful. There's a lot of marks going out on the side of Hive. They got a lot of information. Except for Hive's in a position to where they can easily push down low. They can easily push up top to try to get this one. I think Hive should try to invest into this 2v1 towards the low side. They need to get past where that window could shoot, and then they'll be in a good spot. But it does look like they're going to try to interrupt Juice. They want to go for this neutral. They want to try to put a stop to the point gain of Fire and Ice. But INZEM's going to try to stretch across, but nobody's going to get in the hill just yet. TJ goes down. This is not looking good for Hive.
Not good at all, and Hive really has to hold on here, and they've got to make some magic happen for player 3, though. Noey, he's got to force an engagement onto Dyslexic, goes up, hits him with a nice spread, but he's full red, and eventually will drop. Fearzly, though, is going to be onto the back, or excuse me, INZEM is going to be just behind him, but at this point in time, I think it's a little bit too late. The defensive setup from FNI is too much, and in just about 10 seconds, they're going to take the victory, unless some heroics come out from TJ, which obviously shut down, and they're too far away from getting the break. Good hold from FNI, a very good round in general, but they will lead 2-1.
It's just unfortunate there. They tried to smoke him out. They tried to flash him, but they were unable to pop up into their juice. I know when 5v5, Rise made that push a little famous, but you don't have that extra player. You don't have that extra utility. You got to think twice about your moves. And down low, I do think they have that mismatch available. Unfortunate for them for not taking advantage. So now when it comes down to weapon placement, you see FNI already have that retro towards the low side. Now, you got to think, if they want to put that drop shot, you put it up top towards Cinema. That makes you even in terms of building up that shot grenade. But they want to try and stay one step ahead just in case FNI decides to put that big weapon down towards the top side.
Absolutely. And whoever places that big weapon down obviously is going to fall behind. I think both teams definitely don't want this, but if FNI takes this victory and leads 3-1, there might be a real chance where they decide to do so. Either way, TJ gets Lancer out. Well played from Xploidz to be able to react to what TJ was about to do.
Great audible. Fearzly, instead of going towards the top side, Xploidz and Fearzly working together, and you see the rotations coming through again, making sure that they keep the eliminations in their favor, staggering the deaths, but this is where it's a double reward there. They're either going to get the double eliminations or get the hills. They're going to get the hill in control, get that early lead, not allow Solurs to grab any inches just yet. This is where hopefully they're going to get in position to kind of set up, but you got Hive already putting their numbers towards the top side, looking like that's where they want to retake. And it's going to start with TJ, followed up by Solurs. Inch by inch, Hive's pressing forward.
Xploidz backing up with Fearzly. No worries at all. FNI still in control at this point in time. Dyslexic holding down Juice. INZEM looks to be challenging him from this time. Dyslexic doesn't want to give up this fight. INZEM, though, very weak, but Dyslexic will fall. INZEM clutches up. He's been playing so very well. As you said, his time on Rise really elevated his experience and his skill level in general, and he's not a player to take lightly. And Toti will find out why. TJ also falls. Hive has flipped the script, going for the domination themselves, and they might have got it if Xploidz didn't clutch up on the Solurs.
Xploidz keeping his team alive. Fearzly down, not going to let him get eliminated. INZEM actually went down as well, so continuing to stagger the deaths is the name of the game for Fire and Ice, as they trail here right now, but with that hill being decapped by Toti, they're going to find themselves a little bit of a lead, so Hive needs to find a way to get back onto the field fast enough, but with I do believe that was INZEM just spawning back up. That's going to allow Fire and Ice ample time to kind of set up, try to get in the position that they want. But they need to figure out where these players are at, mark them out, figure out the information, and figure out where the push is coming from. Because Hive right now, they have the middle of the field. They can easily choose if they want to attack towards the top side or home hill to home hill.
This overextension fails and FNI can hold on. That's going to hurt Hive's chances of winning this round. FNI is pretty much going to lock it in place. Toti needs to go big here. Smoke is out. Noey's going for the break, and Dyslexic and Toti, all they can do is Lancer blindly, as A will be decapped. So it's going to help the chances of Hive in this situation. Still down, still trailing, but much better off. And look at this audible, Jacob. They're now going to be going through mid to challenge through Juice, but they need to pick up Dyslexic, who's going to be on the right. But you also have Xploidz, who's on the left, who's able to Lancer out, Boltok in hand. Solurs getting chip damage, but he will stay up. Either way, the COG team will win in just about 5 seconds as they're going for the domination. Player 7's going for the touch B. Has been decapped once again. Fearzly fighting for his life. Hive is holding on. And they're putting a dent in this point lead right now. They got the hill cap, but C is actually going to be captured up, almost uncontested. But that's on the Hive side of the map, so they're going to have an opportunity to get this decap to come through. Win condition on the top side is favoring Hive. They don't necessarily need to make these pushes, but hills are being decapped. Only team right now getting points is Hive. They're slowly but surely chipping away at this lead. Dyslexic doing all he can, but that run has finally come to an end as Hive secure their home mill and secure this round, and they will tie it up 2 rounds apiece in our grand finals. Very well done from Hive. They played that so well. Despite being down, they go for the overextension. They get the decap, and then they back off, right? The smoke is still down. The decap is in, and Dyslexic and his teammate are still looking through the smoke, expecting those players still to be there. But instead, what do? They back up. They go to Juice. Yeah, it's a bit of a messy fight, but they still clutch it up. Place the attention on the neutral, and then are able to secure potentially the domination. Domination doesn't happen, but then, of course, they were able to close it out. Very well done from Hive to be able to react like that. So much better than last week. They're looking like a totally different team.
I like mirrored placings all the way around, and that's kind of what happens when you have an evenly matched fight. Either team wanting to make that big play, wanting to take that risk of being down a weapon with a big weapon on the map. So it's kind of getting stamped. The only difference, obviously, that you can see is the difference between the favorite side. They want their side weapon, but both teams this time around attacking the center of the map. Noey taking a ton of damage. Both him and Solurs do go down early. TJ falls as well. 3 players of Hive dead off of the initial. It's going to be up to INZEM to buy as much time as humanly possible, but there's no hills for him to grab. He needs to press forward. Lots of damage being taken. Can he buy his team some time? No, he cannot, as Fearzly denies him 3-2 as each team is trading off rounds here.
And Fire and Ice play that so well. They knew exactly what they needed to do, going for the overextension, getting that domination early on. They know if they allow Hive to get back into it, it's going to lessen the chances of F&I to be able to take that round. So good on them for reading the situation for what it was and acting swiftly to take that victory. Very competitive game here, and it looks as if we might get our first mid-line placement, and it looks like it could be Cinema. Now, what is it going to be? I gotta think drop shot is actually going to be shot grenades. Quite interesting. Blocks that placement out, but regardless, though, that is going to allow the team of INZEM of Hive now to kind of be up, especially if they want to go ahead and upgrade their own weapons.
Makes me wonder, what are they thinking on the side of F&I? What kind of strategy do they have in mind on the side of Hive? Exactly what you said. They want to continue to upgrade their side of the map, or at least until the big weapon shows itself. And if you look at the initial coming out, Hive going ahead and putting a lot of favor in towards that middle. But can Toti notice that one and keep it going? It does look like it's going to be a free shot grenade towards the top side of the map, but a free 2 shot grenades to be exact.
INZEM so aggressive. One player down to his right, but unfortunately the aggression gets the best of him. TJ also getting Lancer from behind. That chip damage is crazy as Fearzly now tries to go in for the pickup. Not going to happen though, but does get Dyslexic back into the fight, and that's going to be important. Utilities out. Fearzly pushing in. Bit of a bait and switch. Dyslexic's going to be the forefronter as Noey now is going to get chunked in the end. TJ now forced to back up. Fearzly and Dyslexic making this push forward is so good. And TJ can't react to it. INZEM now the next one to try and fight him off. And it looks like Fearzly is going to go ahead and space himself out, but the damage is done. Look at Fire and Ice. The pressure is on, and they're all over F.
Gotta wonder what happened on the side of Hive. They had an extra man in towards the middle, in towards the bottom. Toti overextended. He got the break, made these members of Hive backtrack. Solurs getting another one. Noey getting one as well. 2 straight kills from Hive, opening that door wide open, wasting no time. Both Noey and Solurs overextending to try to get the hills under their control. They got a little bit of a lead to overcome, but with that hill, with that point gain they're gonna get, certainly do just that. So it's gonna be up to F&I here to answer back, but it's gonna be a 3v2. I don't know if they know the numbers are there. Noey quickly goes in, getting that kill on Xploidz, lands a nice fire shot on Toti. That's gonna be a double kill coming through, and once again wasting no time going after the next objective.
Fearzly might have put F&I back in the driver's seat, although Hive does have the lead so far, but winning that fight versus INZEM was pretty big. Now F&I does have the 2-to-1 hill advantage. I say that, but then player 5 Solurs is able to rotate down, get the neutral, and this is just chaos at this point. Again, you mentioned numbers, Jacob, and I don't think F&I really truly expected Hive to have 3 players all over on the home hill, as opposed to the 2 from F&I was trying to push them off, and now all of a sudden, now you got Fearzly who needs to get a touch. Solurs misses the shot, and Fearzly will get the chunk on his Solurs, keeping F&I back into it, as it looks like it's going to be a 2v1 against Noey. And Noey, he almost does it.
You almost cannot be organized on the side of Fire and Ice here. You got to go. You got to get to the other side of the map. The longer you take, the less chance you're going to have to go in order to get in that hill and complete the break. You see the win condition on the top. It's going to stay on over with Hive. Less than 30 seconds remain. TJ battling back towards the low side. Multiple players of Fire and Ice, though, going towards the top side. It does look like Xploidz is trying to sneak through, trying to get the eliminations. 2 players go down. This is a big opportunity for Fire and Ice late into this one. I talk about not being organized, but the eliminations are being solidified. Noey's going to sneak past. He doesn't need a ton of time, but no, he gets caught by Toti. The run will come to an end, and Fire and Ice will become that much closer to forcing a third and final map.
Man, you know, Fire and Ice had the lead, or at least they had the advantage. Hive then comes back, counters them, and really punishes Fire and Ice for their aggression. And then all of a sudden, Hive starts to take the lead again, look good, and then FNI is right back in there to get the domination in the end and sneak that round from Hive's feet. And now you got a lead, 4-2, FNI on the cusp of tying up the series and forcing a game number 3, which will be in their favor. It's going into Asylum. Now Incendiaries are on the map. You got Shocks literally in 3 different places, and the Hammer Burst as well to boot. Things just got interesting.
You got to think Hive when it comes to looking at the map right now. Double utility being placed out. You got to think they have the upper hand, but nobody really going for the top side of the map. It's basically a 2-2 split. I told you the importance of middle. Better late than never for some of these teams, but a massive shot being fired out by Dyslexic. He's actually going to grab first blood on Noey. Team and players going down from each of these teams, but TJ's going to go down. So 2 players actually dead from the side of Hive. Make that 3 as INZEM goes down, and that's going to be an ace as Solurs meets his demise. Now it's going to be up to Noey to try to battle back here to make sure that Fire and Ice does not close out this map.
They don't overcommit. I like that, actually, because in the previous rounds, they've overcommitted, tried to stick the domination, only to get counter-wiped and put Hive in a position where they go for the overextension. They get the double home hill setup, and now FNI is in a disadvantageous position, and they're trying to force to come back. So backing off right there, perfect play. That's exactly what was needed. Now they're going to be able to read Hive's next push, put the numbers where they need to, and then effectively stop them acquiring more points. In the meantime, though, INZEM catches Fearzly off the Mistral, takes him down, bettering the chances of Hive to get the neutral in their hands. But you also have that player number 8. It's going to be Xploidz, who's going to be able to lance her out.
I was going to say, you got to go, INZEM. You got to start making the next play. Nice instant from downtown coming out from Noey. Their points are roughly doubled up by Fire and Ice, so it's not over just yet, but uncontested, they will find themselves in the driver's seat in terms of score line. So it's going to be up to Fire and Ice here to answer back. They have plenty of time to figure out where their play is going to be. They have to figure out where these players of Hive are defensively set up, who is going to be the mark, who is going to be the play, and already getting marked towards the top side. Xploidz, the MVP so far of the day for Fire and Ice, looking like he's trying to overextend towards the top side. Hive did get down for a moment, the moment needed to break that hill. Another player goes down on the side of Fire and Ice. Noey pressing up, bites off more than he can chew. Toti takes him out. TJ takes him out as well. So Fire and Ice once again in the driver's seat.
Oh yeah, they're driving this car to the finish line. At this point in time, Hive is in dire straits. The domination is coming in for FNI. Player 5 is going to drop, and now this is where things get scary. Noey's just got to try and get a touch, but the meat shield's there. He's just giving up. He knows it's over. Oh, wait a second. One player does sneak through to give him a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but in the end, Fire and Ice takes it 5-2. That shows, like, look, Harbor may have went the way of Hive, but we're here to play, and the series is not going to be that easy.
Not going to be easy at all, and I like the way Hive switched up their strategy, went from putting all their eggs in a big power weapon basket to playing the long game. 5-2 is going to be the score line, and Fire and Ice one step closer to taking another event.
Well, we're all tied up in this series. We still have one more map to go to settle who is going to take over the victory. We have Asylum coming up next between FNI and Hive. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Split 2 Pro League Qualifier week number 2. Well into grand finals, about to head into our final map, which is on Asylum. But Fire and Ice finally woke up. That Harbor map did not go their way. In fact, they ended up losing 5-1 after getting countered with their singularity strategy of just going for the sniper. District ended up being a much different story. They ended up coming back and tying up the series 1-1. Jacob, they looked a lot better here.
I definitely did look a lot better. Finally piecing it together, getting the momentum on their side. That's going to be key to any map number 3, is winning map number 2, to be honest. But it's going to be up to Hive. A map like Asylum, I think, fits both of these teams very, very well. We already see both of these teams not afraid to match each other right down the center. And when it comes to anything, you almost got to side with the team that has momentum, and that is going to be Fire and Ice.
Yeah, I think Fire and Ice definitely has momentum at this point. They've let, you know, and what I like about that is they do have some younger members on their team, most notably, you know, Dyslexic being only 16 years old. Of course, though, he does have a lot of experience when it comes to playing at a top competitive level. He had all of Split 1, and he's played against the best of the best. So he's definitely was able to place that last map in the back of his mind, come through with a better mindset here versus Hive, obviously, in map number 2 on District, and it worked out much, much better. Either way, Fearzly has been playing so good. And, you know, that was the member that you said has like really stepped it up. Xploidz as well has kind of been the MVP. And as we head into Asylum, speaking of Xploidz, again, I constantly harp on it. Xploidz and Dyslexic on tracks is so hard to shut down. And Hive is going to be forced, in my opinion, to send TJ on tracks to kind of challenge that. And I think Pavilion is going to play a much, much bigger role than in the past. And the reason why is because you're going to be able to Lancer out. To be able to Lancer out Xploidz or Dyslexic in that position is going to be hugely important to get that added chip damage to bring them down within chunk range that TJ is going to need in order to get up close and personal.
Yep, and what I like too is Fire and Ice, they're not scared to put those precision weapons down. You saw it a lot on Harbor today. It won them a match, it lost them a match. And this one, in the past, they've been known to throw out those snipers. They've been known to throw out those M bars. When we talk about big weapons being placed down, typically you think we talk about drop shot, boom shot, but in the hands of Fire and Ice, they can keep everyone guessing because they're able to fire off on all cylinders. Those precision weapons, those big power weapons in the hands of Toti, in the hands of Xploidz. You're already seeing him run a headshot clinic. You can call him a barber the way he's giving haircuts today. So I can expect that to go ahead and continue, or at least attempt to continue that, because I haven't really seen any big precision weapon plays come out from Hive throughout the course of this matchup. Yes, TJ did put a stop to the sniper usage, but when it comes to actually hitting those headshots convincingly, nobody has been able to gain the momentum on the side of Hive.
It's true. It really is. But you know what? F&I has shown that they're not shy about falling behind in the overall weapon placements, right? That shock was really weird, right? I don't know what the game plan was for that placement, but they ended up placing over in Cinema, and it didn't really have much of an impact. So they are willing to take a hit in their overall weapon tree buildup to maybe block off a line of attack. Maybe that would put them in an uncomfortable situation. You know, when it comes down to Asylum, though, I think it's going to be pretty much even. We haven't really been seeing too many power weapons placed. Normally in Pavilion, that's where it's at, but it's kind of like neck and neck between these two teams. So I expect it just to be, you know, Botok, Talon, Retro, Ensign, Shocked, kind of the normal stuff that we normally see come through. A player that I didn't mention, though, is actually Fearzly. Fearzly excels on the second half. He's so good at getting onto the neutral, getting a decap or getting the full cap, and he's not shy about pushing down the baby steps on streets and just challenging the other team, getting a quick pick and then backing off. That's something that he kind of specializes in, and he's super good at doing so. So F&I has a lot of great things going their way here versus Hive.
Yeah, I like the way you point that out, because I honestly think it was Fearzly himself during emergence days, either in the Hive matchup or the Pittsburgh Knights matchup on Asylum. He was doing just that. I always talk about Dyslexic. Like we said, we always talk about Dyslexic because, you know, rightfully so, he might be the superstar of the team. But does that mean nobody else is going to show up? No, that's not what it means. It just means that you don't expect it. It means that players like Fearzly, players like Xploidz, players like Toti can really catch people off guard and take over a game because everybody is planning for Dyslexic. And that's what makes Fire and Ice so dangerous. Let's add that to the talk about the weapon placements, their versatility, and being able to put out a drop shot versus a precision weapon, actually put it to use. Fire and Ice this time around is looking dangerous. And I know in the past they have excelled in these split qualifiers or in emergence days, but when it came down to the majors, they weren't the same team. But this is a new roster, and they are looking like one of the best rosters that Fire and Ice has ever seen.
I agree, and even better than when they had Krabbies on and they had that short stint where they were looking super, super powerful. Remember that during the 5v5 days? But man, I got to tell you, I agree. They definitely look like the strongest roster we've seen as of yet. I think they have a very real chance to make a deep run in the Pro League and maybe even the next major if they continue what they already have. Of course, we are going to see once we get into the full swing of things, will they fall behind or kind of be middle of the road team, or will they be much like VQ was whenever the Pro League qualifiers were taking place into the Pro League, where they just literally were unstoppable? Only time will tell, but either way, they got a lot of passion and a lot of heart. Now, of course, I mentioned Fearzly, Toti, another player to an FNI who's so talented. And Fearzly and Toti are going to be those players to really challenge onto streets, specifically in that first half. So they're going to be those players who are looking to go for the overextension. And if I had to guess, they're going to be challenging maybe the members of maybe Noey and Solurs, who I think are going to be challenging on streets, while TJ and INZEM are most likely going to be the ones going down to challenge Dyslexic and Xploidz onto tracks. What are the chances here, though? Do you think FNI has it, or do you think Hive is going to come back?
It all depends on how Hive answers, because I like the way you kind of set that one up, talking about what to expect from a Fire and Ice, especially on a map like Asylum. They are going to be the aggressors, so you can kind of, if you're smart enough on the side of Hive, you can either do one of two things. You can match that aggression, because playing shotgun for shotgun is a strength of a team like Hive, or you can kind of spot out where these players are leading the charge, especially a player like Xploidz, a player like Dyslexic that like to play down towards that side of the map, and you can exploit it. What does that mean? You overextend towards the other half of the map, disrupt their overall game plan. Don't give them that a fight off the initial that they're looking for. On the side of Hive, they have many different strategies, many different options of what they want to employ, especially when you know a team as aggressive as Fire and Ice, the strategies that they like to play on a map like Asylum. You can easily use that, but to me, I just feel like Hive is so confident right now in their game plan and in their strategy that they're not going to deter away from fighting these shotgun fights, or at least in the first couple of rounds.
I agree. And you know what? We may have not watched them play Harbor. We may have not watched them play District until tonight, but we have seen them play Asylum during the Pro League qualifiers on week 1 just last week on Monday. And Asylum was one of the maps, I think the first map, and it was FNI who took the victory 5-3. And they just played it very, very well. But there was a short stint where they were going back and forth. So I do expect this to be close regardless. I do have FNI taking the entire series here on this last map. I think they're going to win Asylum. But hey, Hive has been looking better and better, and it wouldn't surprise me if they also win as well. But FNI is definitely my favorite team going into this third and final map. Of course, though, for you guys out there, you may not be playing, but you still have a chance to technically win, if you will. There are new skins coming back into the shop tomorrow, and I want you guys to get your hands on them, or at least have the chance. We got the Chrome Steel Kate as well as the Chrome Steel Foz coming in, available tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty good time for you guys out there. Maybe you're fans of these two, but hey, I like them. I like them a lot. We already talked about how it increases your KD, brother.
Increase your KD, your confidence level. Imagine yourself running around as this Chrome Steel character, and you're running against somebody that's a default skin. They more than likely don't know how to play, and even if they do, it doesn't matter because you're running around with a Chrome Steel skin. So make sure, if you guys missed out before and you're one of those people that like to collect them all, make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow, because who knows, we might go ahead and return them now, but they may never return again after tomorrow.
That's the thing, man. Fear of missing out, man. That is a real thing. Get it when you can. Get it while you can. Like you said, don't be that default skin running around, okay? Because no one's going to take you seriously. They're just going to look through. They're just going to run through you, okay? That's exactly what they're going to do. So make sure you check them out and you pick them up when you can. Jacob, I just want to see you play, man. That's all I want. I'm going to be honest with you. I would buy the Chrome Steel for you just to watch you play against any of these rosters. I really would. I'd buy you the whole collection.
We just need like a little bit of an all-star game where you got each one of us casters, right? And then we each pick 3 different pros to go against, and we all have to play. You know what I'm saying? I love Colin, I love Blaze, I love you, Taylor, but I'm ready to come for next. You've been putting me too much into the spotlight. You've been asking me to play too much. Now I actually want to. Now you guys better watch out. I'm a free agent.
Hey, look, man, it definitely would be a talented team amongst the casters if it was Blaze, yourself, and Colin playing. I would love to watch that. I really would. I'm not going to get into the mix of it because I'm not going to embarrass myself, all right? I'm not going to expose myself for the little skills that I do have. I'm a caster for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Match is underway. Let's get it going again. Xploidz as well as Dyslexic. They're going to be the duo to watch here onto tracks. For the side of Hive, though, it is going to be TJ and INZEM who are looking to challenge themselves. A deadly duo in their own right. But as you said, Jacob, Fire and Ice, they like to be aggressive here and take the fight to the enemy team, and that's what they're looking to do.
Gotta be careful though if you're dyslexic. You can easily become a target just like you see. But well-placed shots from both dyslexic and Xploidz on the same page. And they're gonna continue that one going. Big eliminations, or at least a down on TJ, forcing Solurs back. That's gonna open up a little bit of an avenue for Fearzly. And these players are just getting eliminated. A team kill coming through, and they're gonna continue to press forward knowing they have to get this elimination on Noey. And then now they can backtrack, know that they're aggressively set up. Oh my God, and they get gifted another elimination on INZEM. This is looking like a lights out round for Fire and Ice.
Absolutely. It's going to be less than a minute, as it looks like F9 definitely ready to play that round. Minute and 3 seconds, but still they'll take it very quick in general. And again, F9, as you said, Jacob, they are the aggressors. They love getting in your face. And you look at the kills and assists for the side of Hive, no one able to accumulate anything. And now, as we do head into round 2, if F9 keeps this up, that's going to force Hive into a very uncomfortable position to not build up their weapon tree, but to place something down in the center line. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is a possibility. Let's see if Hive can clean up from their mistakes, or at least learn from them, and come back even stronger here in round 2.
Saw aggressive Fire and Ice going to play. I don't think they're going to let up just yet, especially now that they have this Bolt Talk in the hands of dyslexic. They just need to minimize the shots that they're taking from INZEM if they're looking to continue the same style of aggression that they've done so far. But it's going to slow down just a little bit, and even if it does, they're just waiting for the train to separate the two. Well-placed Mark to come through to get that information. Nobody getting stunned up just yet. Dyslexic returning fire of his own. He's trying to take inch by inch. He wants to take this fight over towards INZEM. Bites off more than he can chew. He gets taken out. Numbers game being switched over, and it's deja vu, but instead of Hive being crumbled, it's actually Hive being the aggressors with the elimination.
Yeah, and this is what Hive needs to do. Take the fight to F9. Don't allow them to push you back into your own spawn. Don't put yourself in a position that you're going to have to fight against. And Hive will take that neutral and continue their lead forward. Player 3, though, is getting very aggressive. Dyslexic, angry that he lost that Trax fight, now wants revenge. And TJ and INZEM are up there to try and stop him.
INZEM, though, throughout the course of this one, holding his ground as his flash out, waiting for that perfect moment to use. And I do like how he's not getting over aggressive. He's not throwing it, trying to get loose for no reason. He's waiting, knowing that Fire and Ice has to push into them. It doesn't matter if it's right now or 10 seconds from now. INZEM is going to be ready with that bit of utility to answer back, because you know Dyslexic is going to start the push with a flash grenade of his own. But as the track separates them, that's going to be the opportunity both of these players use to push up. Dyslexic gets the moment inside of the hill, goes for the decap, returning flash from INZEM, unable to hit the cover the way that he wants. He's not going to get the elimination, not going to get the down. So this is just looking like they're going to be stalemated for just another moment.
I was shocked INZEM decided to pressure that as quick as he did, but no worries as he picks up Xploidz, who dives right into him. And Dyslexic also falls as well, and Hive. Well, wait up a second. Toti is there too. Just when I thought he was going to get away, Toti is there to shut him down, and he's now going to pressure onto INZEM as well. Either way, only about 20 points separate these two teams, so whoever can take control of the 2-1 hill advantage is absolutely going to be in the driver's seat. It looks like it's going to be F9.
Fearzly not thinking right there, running straight through the spawn of Hive. They caught him slipping. Toti goes down next. So all those great plays, great moves being made by Fire and Ice, quickly squandered away by Fearzly, being out of position, making the wrong rotation. Now with 2 hills in possession of Hive, Fire and Ice has to battle back, figure out what they're going to do here as Dyslexic does go down. Not taken out just yet, but they're leaving him there to die as Hive looking to press forward and put an ending to this round.
Oh yeah, they definitely want to solidify this round. Toti can't really get anywhere. He's going to be forced to go in, though. He's full red, takes down TJ, but it's what is it worth if you don't get the top? But Xploidz actually does. That's 2 down now. As F9 is going to off to the races, they're going for the overextension. It's going to be a really, really hard sell for them to get onto B, and I don't think they have enough time. The train's moving in. Dyslexic has to pick up a 1v2. Not enough time. They're going to run out, and Hive will hold on to bring it 1-1. And it's fair to say they definitely did learn from round number 1. They didn't allow F9 to dominate tracks as much. But then again, Hive wasn't as aggressive as F9 was. Therefore, they were able to defensively set up, and F9 was wanting that fight. They wanted Hive to be as aggressive as F9 is, right? That's where they feel comfortable. But when Hive doesn't give them that aggression and they hang back, F9 is kind of a little bit lost. I'm like, what do? We don't like trying to push up. But hey, good job on Hive, man. That was a solid round.
Both teams wanted to match each other. And I kind of like it. If you're Fire and Ice or Hive, you put the instants down low and the other team spreads it out. Those instants are going to be good on the initial only if you actually get the kill. Putting both pistols down there is going to help both sides of the map. So both Fearzly and I do believe actually nobody really picking up that talent on the other side of things. I think Hive is making a mistake. Wow.
Ooh, Dyslexic, great shots. And you know what, TJ, you better keep your head down, man, because it's been known that Dyslexic can connect. We just witnessed just a second ago. But unfortunately, he wanted to push up. You saw him throw the utility, but it's more beneficial to get Xploidz up and now to force the issue onto TJ. TJ creating great spacing, though, not allowing them to push up. Fire and Ice still accumulating points for that 2-to-1 hill advantage, but it doesn't mean that they're in control. These next series of kills absolutely could put them in a position that they want to be in. That front train is going to be moving in, and Xploidz actually dives on the other side and gets ran over. What was that?
That was the cold train running on whole grains right there. That train took it to him. And INZEM continuing that aggression. So Xploidz getting taken out by the train leads to Toti getting taken out next. What could possibly lead to a triple cap domination. If look at these players off a respawn, Xploidz wasting no time going for his home mill, wanting to make this 3v3 go at it, make it a 3v2. It's narrowing down to a 3v1 as multiple members of Hive are getting eliminated. So a great rotation out of respawn coming through for Dyslexic is going to allow them to win the team fight on the neutral. So as soon as they recapture their home mill, they're going to be in such a great position not only to gain points, but force Hive to make a decision sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. And Hive, what are they going to do at this point in time? I don't know, it's hard to get through that Boltok with Dyslexic. He's just been raining down shots. Of course, he's running a little bit low when it comes to shots with that Boltok, but either way, Hive has set themselves up nicely. They're going for that push. Utility is out. Dyslexic is holding this down on their own, and TJ and Solurs don't really want to push him at this point, right? They also know Fearzly is also just to his left, so this isn't going to be an easy retake, but they're going to be forced to do so soon.
Wouldn't worry about the Boltok too much. I don't know, Dyslexic doesn't have a ton as they push forward. Decap's going to be step number one, but if you look at the score, they're going to need to come back. I do believe the win condition, I was going to say it might switch on over, but it's just a few seconds out from changing that win condition over. TJ's got to get that elimination, but they need to press forward. They need to get this decap. Fearzly hiding, waiting for that perfect moment. Solurs not getting caught out, not falling for these tricks. Realize how important this last portion of the game is. Fire and Ice looking to hold on to their win condition.
Definitely need to hold on at this point in time. And 15 seconds is pretty much an eternity, is it not, Jacob? I mean, especially whenever you're trying to push up. Either way, though, Dyslexic does sneak through. He's going to be on C, and this is going to be a big break. He gets to decap. That's going to help out the odds of F&I tremendously. As a matter of fact, Hive isn't going to get anywhere close to A, so they will hold on. But again, it wasn't easy. And you know, the biggest difference that I'm seeing now from last week to this week is just how close each round is between these two teams, and they have really started to come into their own. Obviously, F&I is the top dog whenever it comes to the Pro League qualifiers, but Hive is quickly becoming not really second best, but almost becoming the first best. And F&I, if they don't play with all their heart, they could easily lose this.
I bet you know he's gonna learn his lesson this time around. Early on, to start off that initial, he was unable to advance no matter what happened there on the tracks, because he did not pick up that Talon pistol. He was held off by, I do believe that might have been Xploidz for the longest time, or maybe Fearzly with that Talon pistol, even though his team was losing that bottom fight. Now that it's upgraded to retros, nobody should be making that mistake. But as I say it, he runs past it again.
And that is highly unfortunate. You said he learned from the mistakes. Well, he's not learning at this point in time. Hopefully, he will step it up. We've seen how much, like, if you just don't pay attention, it affected F&I and Harbor, did it not? And it could, in fact, affect Hive in this position. Either way, looks like INZEM wants to be the aggressor. I say that, but one of the players from F&I actually comes up. That's going to be Xploidz. INZEM now forced back. And you can see how pushed up Xploidz is. Dyslexic is there for the Lancer Fire, and INZEM's job is going to be very difficult here. But then again, he's hitting the Boltok shots, but Dyslexic is going to be up close. INZEM needs this elimination. He's not going to get it. F&I is all over. There's going to be a 2v1, and Xploidz gets the final kick in the face onto TJ. But the overextension is there, and Noey has broke 3.
did catch Fearzly out of position with that retro. I do believe he caught him over the edge, put some good damage on him, and pressed the fight from there. Got the decap, and I like what he's doing. He's not caring about getting the actual capture. It's about the positioning. It's about keeping Fire Knife out of this positioning and out of the hill, but unfortunately, big flanks coming through from Dyslexic. Fearzly, they're able to chain together that double kill. They cook Hive on the backside. Luckily for them, they continue those rotations low side to decap that neutral. That's going to buy him some time. This could be so much worse for the side of Hive, but as I say that, TJ gets taken out. INZEM should soon fall. So 2 more players of Hive getting their death staggered, and the rest of the members of Fire Knights are pressing forward, looking like they want to close this one out.
Yeah, Fire Knights definitely wants to close. That's just their play style, right? Toti comes onto the back of Solurs, hugely beneficial as Noey falls. This should be GG. TJ, though, looking to go in. Will almost get the trade onto Toti, but it doesn't matter. Fire Knights has too much of a presence on this map, and they will take a 3-1 lead. And this is huge for FNI. This is going to be very difficult now going into the second half. In my opinion, FNI get stronger on the second half. They almost have gotten stronger in the second half pretty much any time they played on Asylum, even in the 5v5 days with the separate roster. So Hive, they've got their work cut out for them, and now they have to decide, do we want a midline placement here in Pavilion, or maybe even something on entrance or tracks?
I like what FNI is doing, sticking to your strengths. You upgraded on the side, put that shot grenade there. It almost has to be answered back on the side of a Hive, whether a shot grenade or you start to build up the instant low side, but it is going to be a shot grenade, especially with that hill towards the top side. That allows players to kind of be able to sneak around, to make some moves towards the back end, especially if it's shocked off, if it's smoked off, if no one can see these players slipping by. It is 4v4, so that extra player being a security blanket is no longer there.
Look at Hive sending 2 players down low. They want to prioritize the overextension. They're going to run into Fearzly, who has a chance to maybe shut this down, but shocks are placed. Fire and Ice. Oh no, Xploidz can't get picked back up, but the other shock stops Hive in their tracks. They're not going to be able to get up steps and pressure in onto E. So Hive now, I think, is knowing they lost E, they're going to full send INZEM as well as TJ into Fearzly, who is now looking at 2 players in front of him. He's going to drop. Player 2 is going to be there, but now he's in a 1v2, but he gets onto 1 and actually almost gets the pickup. INZEM was there and he clutches up onto that. So that overextension from Hive absolutely fell apart and didn't amount to anything.
And I said it, I had a sound of disgust immediately when Fire and Ice threw their other shock grenade to try to counteract. You didn't need to throw it there. These players were not going to push up, and if they do, that's when you throw it. But now, luckily for Hive, they did waste that shock grenade, so this is going to be an opportunity for them to answer back. These players getting eliminated, which means they're going to get an extra bit of utility in their hands. Since I'm throwing that smoke, he's going to try to fight to get inside, try to get this break to come through, but nobody wanted to let this one slip by. Noey does get taken out, so instead of INZEM getting some cover fire, they had to stop and get that revive. Fire and Ice take that position back. That is going to be crucial, but Toti finds himself taking too much damage. INZEM keeping his head on a swivel, pistol, Lancer. He has everything necessary to make this work for Hive and the lead as well, as they're trying to get one step closer to putting a stop to it.
And Dyslexic on tracks is one of those players that he might choose to challenge TJ, right? I mean, he really doesn't have a lot of respect for anybody, and I say that because he's just so confident in his overall game style. But either way, Hive will back off. They ended up capturing E. That's exactly what they wanted. For Hive, though, they might tend to push this, especially getting that drop onto Fearzly. Solurs eventually should be able to get the cleanup here. He will. Oh, look at him pushing up. I knew they were going to do it.
Yeah, same. I said, uh-oh, I saw that one coming from a mile away. You know, we're playing. We get like the overlord view of everything that does go down. Toti's going to be forced to back up, though. Still 2 hills in favor of Hive. They have about 30 points to overcome. Great play by Dyslexic. And he's going to make it across the tracks in time to get the break, to disrupt the lead gain by Hive as they're looking to put a stop to the bleeding here. The rest of the members of FNI trying to overextend. That shock grenade not far enough to go ahead and stop them from getting in, but it stopped the exit from Hive, forcing them forward. Noey doing what he can, but he gets downed out fiercely with the last laugh here in that situation, going up against TJ. Fire Nice does have the lead, though, so this cap is only bonus. Hive, they need to press forward, get this elimination, and keep on going.
Nice.
You can't cap, you gotta go.
To INZEM.
You gotta go.
So close. Nah, Hive is going to get it. They're going to have that win condition, as you said. Wasting too much time. You see now Xploidz freaking out. He's going over towards F, and so it's going to now be a 2v3 onto E. The scoreline's still growing. Xploidz is going to be able to get the decap, but he's going to be met by INZEM. Dance around, can't get it. E is also in the hands of Hive, and Hive is going to take that route to bring it 3-2. So close, but it just fell apart for FNI just pretty much towards the later portions of that round.
1 second off. I really thought he had to go. Luckily, he didn't listen to me. Luckily, I'm not his coach. I know you want me back in there playing and coaching. I would have told TJ to go. I would have lost the game for us right there. So luckily, I'm here. I was 1 second off, though. But that shows how close this game really is between Fire and Ice and Hive. If you guys have been living under a rock, if you guys had just tuned in, you guys have been missing one hell of a matchup between these two teams fighting tooth and nail to get #1 throughout the qualification process. And up until this point, it's been evenly matched in terms of scoreline for the most part, weapon placement, neither team wanting to give up an inch, neither team wanting to risk that big fire weapon going down.
Okay, big round for F&I again to lead 4-2, but even bigger for Hive to take the wind out of F&I's cells to show that F&I isn't a strong enough team to battle against Hive on that second half like they traditionally are. Shock is going to go out, and that's going to separate F&I from getting onto E, still pinned up. And you notice Hive, they kind of went for the overextension, but not really. I thought player 8 was going to go there, but he feels like it's better to match the numbers of F&I. Meanwhile, player 7 from Pavilion is going to be able to lance her out potentially. But either way, though, it is going to be F&I striking first onto E, but it might fall away pretty quickly, especially with Xploidz pushing up like he just did. No reason for that. He effectively threw his life away.
Good for Fearzly, though. He does have that retro, but he's getting chased down like a shark in the water. TJ smells the blood, and he takes out Fearzly as well. I've needed to chain together these kills. They need to figure out a way to build the momentum on towards their side. Double flashes going out. Nobody for F&I getting stunned up just yet, but tons of damage being dealt out by Noey, cleaned up by TJ. Even like the dynamic duo working together. Noey does get taken out. TJ looks to reposition himself, and it works out as he lands himself another kill, and he's staying alive. Players towards his backside. How much can he do for his squad? He takes out Fearzly as well. TJ, in no way, shape, or form, should have been alive, let alone picking up those eliminations for his squad.
Now they're getting the break onto E, and they might even pressure forward. Toti gets a great kill onto INZEM, and Noey also falls as well. Dyslexic clutching up, and now he's going to be able to angle out Solurs, alleviate some pressure off of player number 2, which is Xploidz on tracks. And he gets the full cap basically by himself. Now Hive has to find a way to battle against them. F&I has the win condition, and they're chipping away at the deficit. Good on them for doing so. And Hive is now going to stack up 3 strong to try and take them. But players 3 and 5, what are they up to? Are they trying to stop an attack on tracks? Are they trying to rotate around? Well, it seems like 5 is going to go ahead and rotate back to assist players 2 and 4 of F&I. They need to stop this push from Hive.
Just need to be patient here. The decap comes through, especially with that elimination. You got to let it come through. You have utility. You have the numbers. You can easily answer back, but no break coming through. That's going to put the pressure on Hive here, especially since now Fire and Ice are in the lead for this round. Toti has that extra shot grenade. This is going to become inch by inch harder for Hive to break through. They have to go sooner rather than later, because the longer they wait, the longer Toti's going to be in position with that shot grenade.
Big moves from Hive. This is their moment to take. If they lose this fight, it's going to be detrimental. Shocks are out. That's going to stop F&I from pressing up, and it's also stopping Hive from getting the full cap. And you got INZEM on the ground. You got another one just to his right, and TJForce to back off. This is only helping F&I, and they're also going for the full cap again. And that's a big kill onto INZEM and TJ. The finger guns come out, and Fire and Ice knows this is their round, and they will be leading 4-2.
Cactus Jack with those fingers, bang, bang, looking like he's solidifying this win. And no, not Travis Scott. I'm talking about the real Cactus Jack. McFoley open here as 4-2. Fire and Ice looking like that wasn't just a fluke. We might have won 2 series. We're looking like we're going to win a 3. And honestly, in order to get into the Pro League, this is exactly how you want to start it. We've seen it happen with VQ last split. They took these qualifications by storm and continued that momentum to not only take #1 in the Pro League, but to win that major as well. This might be too soon to say for Fire and Ice, but you're following in those same footsteps.
Whew, drop shot. I like it. You know what? As you said, though, Fire and Ice, I think this might benefit them. And the reason why is because they've traditionally in the second half have been the first team to get their hands on the E. That might benefit them or net them a drop shot. Of course, it's only down to 1 rocket. Makes sense because of 4v4, but INZEM gets a good cleanup there. The shocks will stop and give more time for Xploidz to get back into the fight. The Lancer Fire is there to suppress maybe Hive pushing up. The shock is gone, and INZEM is itching to get into that cup, but it's actually not going to be him. It's going to be his teammate just to the right. That's Solurs, and he's going to get it, and he should be able to get this pickup.
And you figure out a way here. keep as much health as possible. TJ goes down to an instant as well. Solurs took all that damage early on. He fell. Fearzly's getting a double. Goes for a triple kill. And Fearzly said, nah, lights out. I'm trying to go to bed. I'm trying to eat. Oh, no.
No! Noey, what are you doing? The train claims another victim, and that is so unfortunate when you have the entire enemy team pressing forward. You don't want to die to the train, and the drop shot will connect on the TJ. Solurs, all he can do is lance around. That is going to be helpful, though, if the rest of his teammates get up, but you got to get a touch. But either way, E is going to be broken from INZEM, but he's dropped, and the pressure is still there onto F.
Nah. Hey, Fire Nice. They want to close it out, Taylor. Xploidz goes down, though. They're probably getting too ahead of themselves. Toti's trying to make the play. Dyslexic, it's all up to you. And both me and Fire and Ice might have got too ahead of ourselves, but Fearzly, the man that put them in that position by way of a triple kill, is going to be the last line of defense on this neutral as Hive looking to reclaim some of this territory.
Oh my gosh, though, but look at this lead from F&I. It's huge, but even so, Hive has plenty of time to come back, and we do have that second drop shot that'll be under the way, I would say relatively soon. Either way, though, man, Fire and Ice, they don't get the domination, but they don't lose a lot. Hive does have the win condition, though, in this moment, so Fire and Ice is going to have to get the break on E, and they're going for it now.
Nice usage to chain together those flash grenades. INZEM finding himself with almost nowhere to go. Dyslexic taken down towards the low side. So no matter what happens here, Hive's going to get another hill under their control. All points being stopped for Fire and Ice. This is Hive's opportunity here. But F&I just being taken out left and right. Xploidz needs a miracle. I don't know if he has what it takes to go up against 3 members of Hive and survive, all while not gaining any points. Xploidz does get taken out. Points being gained, hills being captured. Hive looking like they're solidifying this round. They're gonna regain the lead. Fearzly doing what he can, but the numbers from Hive are just too much. Triple kill coming out from Solurs, and they're one step closer to tying it up, but they still trail 4-3 to Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice has 1 attempt left. They've got to make 1 solid push forward. The benefit, though, is the drop shot is just now getting picked up. He needs this kill on INZEM. You've got to solidify it, and he does, but INZEM gets the backpack, but Fire and Ice knows they've got to commit everything here. They've got to go for this domination, and they're giving it their all. But the unfortunate thing is one is going to have to rotate back for E. They've got to get the decap on F. This is the only chance they have.
I like what they're doing. You don't have to win off a triple gap domination. Put a stoppage to here and then work from there. Make sure nobody slips by. Somebody's watching the flank. Oh, wow. Well-placed shot grenade. Even if they get on this cap, they're going to fight back tooth and nail. Only 8 seconds Hive needs, but they don't have a hill under their control. Noey's going to have to go up against 1v1 against this Lexim. He's taking a lot of fire damage towards the back end. He's going to fall. Hive is funneling around, trying to make something happen. A trade in downs. This is coming down to the wire. Fire and Ice get that elimination. They get the break. It's not coming through. It's not coming through for Hive. INZEM, the last hope. He's going to get taken down. And I think that's it. That is it.
They have done it. Fire and Ice in the 2nd week in a row have solidified their victory, and they absolutely lead in the Pro League qualifier points. What a close round that was, but the end result is F&I taking the victory in the series. It started off a bit sluggish, not going to lie on Harbor. They ended up losing 5-1 to Hive, but they turned it around on District, winning 5-2, and then, of course, on Asylum, taking the victory 5-2. That last round, a bit messy. It looked as if Hive might be coming through with the domination, but F&I, as long as they had 1 member left on the map, they weren't giving up, and they secured the victory for themselves. Good job to them all around. Very well played from Fire and Ice tonight.
Yeah, very well played indeed. And you can't even put one player in the spotlight saying, hey, you are the MVP, because countless times when it didn't look good for Fire and Ice in rounds and full-on maps, players came up clutch. Fearzly, Xploidz, Dyslexic, and Toti all did their part as an equal unit. And this is looking like a scary roster. I don't care if this is just the qualifications. If teams sleep on this Fire and Ice roster, AMC, Rise, whoever you may be, the Knights, you will find yourself on the losing end like we've already seen so far.
Yeah, we've already seen it, right? I mean, VQ was on the losing end. PK was on the losing end. Of course, Hive has been on the losing end since they've been matching up together. This is the 3rd time that they have faced off against each other, whether it be in the Pro League qualifiers or in E-Days. second time in Pro League qualifiers specifically, and then once in E-Days, and they have lost every time. Now, I will say this, though, the series do get elongated. The series have been getting closer, but FNI is still getting the leg up above their competition. But one thing is for certain, though, if any of the competition is watching and they are looking at Harbor, that is probably one of the weak points where FNI is going to remain sluggish or struggle, which does surprise me. I'm not going to lie. They got that victory versus PK 5-1 on Harbor, but then all of a sudden they change up their strategy. They place the sniper down mid. They put all of their eggs in one basket, and that is for Xploidz to pop off with the sniper. It worked versus Rated R, but let's face it, Rated R is not Hive, nor is Rated R Pittsburgh Knights, nor are they AMC or any of the above of the top level teams, right? It worked against them, but it clearly isn't working against Hive, which means that you can theoretically think it's not going to work against Rise. It's not going to work against AMC or PK or any of the top level teams. So that strategy, as exciting as it is, it has to go. But for the most part, though, when it comes to District or Asylum or even Foundation, I mean, their strategy's sound, Jacob, and they're hard to shut down. All around, they're one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest team currently in the scene.
I just laugh right there. I love those replays. No, he probably didn't see that one coming, but I got to agree with you on that one. But losing the map like that, especially after winning it earlier on in the same event, I think it's kind of a wake-up call. Honestly, it's a blessing in disguise for Fire and Ice. You rather have that happen now, get taken advantage of with one of your best strategies early on. So now when it comes to the rest of the qualification process, a little bit leading up to the actual Pro League, they have time. They have opportunity to switch up their strategies and rethink it. So when you talk about different things going right, going wrong, that's going down, Fire and Ice is going to be a team to beat once that Pro League starts. I almost think due to the points, they cannot show up next week and still qualify for the Pro League.
Let's see, they were leading 200 to 120, 200 specifically in the Pro League qualifier points, and then Hive was there at 120. So the point is, I think they are leading the way. And you know what? Just for added insurance, they absolutely should play next week. And as long as they even make quarterfinals or semifinals, they're going to be okay. And I believe going to be a Pro League team. And rightly so. I mean, they absolutely are already playing like a Pro League team. So there's no reason as to why they shouldn't be there. And the same thing for Hive. We're hyping up Fire and Ice, but Hive has been there consistently too. And they've been looking like a top level team as well. Let's not forget they beat Rise during Emergence Stage, right? That is a huge victory. Going to 4v4, with veterans such as Franchise who have competed in 4v4 in the past, you would expect Rise to be there as the top level team. Of course, very early on, I'm not taking too much into account for that because maybe they're not scrimming as much given the fact that they're still technically on off season. But regardless, though, that is still speaking volumes about their future. Either way, a great series. And that last round, Jacob, was just fantastic.
Yeah, I almost called it a little bit too early. I almost had to go and bite my tongue on that one. But Fire and Ice, through thick and thin, figure out a way to make it happen. 3 straight events, 2 qualifiers, 1 emergence day. Can they keep the ball rolling on Thursday with the next emergence day? I know my eyes are going to be glued to this roster. I know I talked about possibly making a power rankings after the qualifications are in place, and I'm going to be making sure to add Fire and Ice to my notes. They might be up there. Who knows?
Well, let's recap tonight. Let's take a look at our bracket before we get out of here. It was an exciting one, a lot of familiar names. We'll start off in quarterfinals. Fire and Ice played against N7 Gaming. I have seen them in the past. Good to see them still competing, but unfortunately they fell a bit short 2-0. For Rated R, though, it's nice to see them back, and they played very well. Despite them losing to Fire and Ice, both maps came down to 5-3 and 5-3, both on Harbor and Foundation respectively, and they show a lot of promise, and I would love to see them back again next week as they fight for a Pro League qualifier spot. Gods, of course, lost 2-0, but they've been there before, and it's nice to see them consistently playing. Hive versus Old Men, another team, Old Men, who is up there in the Challenger Point standings, and I would love to see them compete again. Of course, Remedy versus Element, and then as the night unfolded, Rated R ended up falling short to FNI. Remedy, of course, fell short to Hive. Remedy's got a lot to improve on. I know Hefe ended up lagging out, but still, though, that map before they lost 5-1, and Hive was pretty much in control that entire time on Vascar. So really no excuse to Remedy, despite map number 2 not going the way they wanted. But for Fire and Ice and Hive, still very neck and neck, but FNI still leads the way.